What if you saw a towering, winged creature by the side of the road? Or if you heard a shrill, blood-curdling scream come from the woods? And what's happening in Pine Barrens? Today, we test the believability of the Jersey Devil.
Welcome to Believing the Bizarre,
Where we dive into the unknown and the unusual.
and tell you whether or not we find it believable.
That is right. I hope everybody is doing well. We are in another week. It is another Tuesday.
Thanksgiving's coming up.
Yes, this time that is true. It's
true.
right around the corner. It's not even a corner, it's straight ahead. You're in the home stretch.
Friday's my birthday, so Tyler got me an awesome birthday present.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, these new headphones. I can hear every molecule in my body screaming.
He can hear you guys listening to this episode.
Yeah, don't pick your nose. I can hear it.
Okay, we sound really young. Like, sometimes I'll go from a different podcast to ours, 15,000 times. But I'll just to listen to our audio or just to see how, the episode starts energy-wise or listen to your edit. And it's always crazy because I'll go to listen from another podcast and then I'll go to us. I'm like, man, we sound like babies.
We have higher voices?
Yeah, we sound young.
Yeah.
We sound like, give me your land. We're young, man. So, the task at hand is the Jersey Devil. A lot of people asked about this one.
Yes, they did.
A lot of people asked about this beast.
I even saw that.
How much do you know about it? I mean, don't say anything. You're going to upset my flow if you do, but do you know quite a bit about it or anything about it? Did you play the video game? Or?
I know a fair amount.
All right, let's dive into the legend of the Jersey Devil. So the Jersey Devil is a creature native to Pine Barrens of New Jersey. The name Pine Barrens refers to the area's sandy, acidic, nutrient-poor soil. It's pretty light. It's just it's not the greatest area.
Yeah, it's like the McDonald's of trees.
A lot of people like McDonald's.
Well, yeah, but it's not good nutrients.
I would say it's like the Rowleys of trees.
I threw up at Rallies once.
Exactly. The Jersey Devil is often described as having hooves, a snake's tail, leathery bat-like wings, small arms with clawed hands, horns, and a head that looks similar to a horse or a goat. It's a mashup. It's like one of those music mashups. It's a playlist of things.
In Greek mythology, that would be a chimera.
It's been reported to move quickly and is often described as emitting a high-pitched, blood-curdling scream. Like, remember the intro when I talked about that?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So there's tons of stories. We'll get into those. Remember our mantra. I feel like our new mantra is quantity over quality. I'm cool with that.
I don't know if that's a good one.
Once we get to 200 episodes, it's all going downhill. Enjoy the next 180.
You said fast. Is it like the Flash fast or like
No.
Kevin
I think
Durant
it's just
fast?
Kevin Durant's pretty fast. Tyreek Hill fast if we're going sports.
Okay.
Do you know who that is?
No idea.
Okay. So sightings have been reported as early as the 1700s and continue all the way until very recently. The last one, I don't think I included it because some of the stories are like, somebody was there and then it was there and then they were done.
Cool.
And that was 2015. So if it's in the 2010s and you don't get a picture of it, I ain't listening. I'm checking out. I'm clocking out if you don't get a picture of it in the 2010s.
So I've had this image of the Jersey Devil forever. It was in this Disney cartoon. I think it was called American Dragon.
Hercules?
No, it was called American Dragon.
Okay.
And it was about this Chinese kid that could turn to a dragon. And the Jersey Devil was in the show.
Did he go? Was it like a Jersey Shore, like one of those where they mash up it's just a mashup thing today. What is that called? Where two shows come together. There's a name for that.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know either. But was it that Jersey Shore and this cartoon
No.
coming together?
Pauly D. It's just like him shirtless coming down the.
Yeah.
No,
it wasn't that.
No. Oh God, it was. If you know what show I'm talking about, anybody, not you, but anybody in the audience,
in the audience. It's like y'all are seated in an auditorium. There will be an intermission. You can get your popcorn.
Tweet us or something.
Overpriced soda. Tweet us.
I don't know.
Anyway, let's dive into the origin story of the Jersey Devil. It's called a crossover. I looked that up. It's called a crossover. What is this, a crossover? All right, the origin. So local residents trace the origin back to a woman called Mother Leeds, like Mother Goose or Mother Hooded Bat-Winged Devil. Rolls off the tongue. It's also known as the Leeds Devil. Now, there's multiple stories about how the origin of the Jersey Devil came to be, so we're going to dive into those first, and then we'll get to the sightings. Origin story number 1. This is the most prominent, and it's the longest. So legend has it that way back in 1735...
Wow.
Yeah, a long time ago.
So before the revolution.
Yeah, long time ago. Before that Roanoke shit happened. Actually, that's not true. That was
not true.
15. Oh, man. I wasn't paying attention. A Pines resident known as Mother Leeds found herself pregnant for the 13th time.
Oh, dang.
1, you don't just find yourself pregnant. You don't wake up and be like, well, how did that happen? And 2, it doesn't say whether or not she was Catholic, but I can only assume that she was.
Oof.
But she didn't have that dough. You know what I mean? That dough. She wasn't living that wealthy lifestyle.
Oh, I was like, what the does that mean?
DOUGHDOH.
As in
that
dough.
dough.
As in
dough.
Okay.
Right. Maybe she had her other 12 kids working for Nike. I don't know. But her husband was a drunk who made very few efforts to provide for his wife and his 12 children. So upon discovering this 13th child in her belly, that's not technically the belly, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She reached the point of absolute exasperation. She raised her hands to the heavens and proclaimed, "Let this one be the devil."
Why?
It's a little dramatic, and I 100% don't see how that solves anything.
No.
But a few months later, fast forward, Mother Leeds went into labor. It was a dark and stormy night. And she was no longer mindful of the curse that she uttered previously regarding her unborn child, so her children and her husband were huddled together in a room while the local midwives... Is that free? Do you just get midwives? Because they're saying they're poor, but you have midwives. I don't know if they just go door to door and like, are you going to have a baby today?
I think it was more of a community event.
Oh, selling tickets. I went on SeatGeek. I'm in the way back on the couch,
I think it was like more of a community kind of like people brought like food and stuff.
People are like, I'm rooting that it dies.
13's too many.
They got the over and the under. Oh my god. So initially, this seemed like a normal baby boy.
Okay.
However, within just a few minutes, Mother Leeds' unholy wish that she uttered months before finally started to become true. The baby started to change and warp and spasm. The baby boy metamorphosed right before everyone's eyes. Within moments, it transformed from a nice, innocent, newborn baby into a hideous creature and just started growing at an alarming rate. It sprouted horns from the top of its head, talon-like claws tore through the tips of the fingers, and those leathery, bat-like wings started just splashing out of the back. That's a weird adjective, but that's how I imagine it. And hair and feathers started sprouting all over the child's body.
And she's just like, oh no.
He's in like a slow moment. Now, see, I'm thinking the father was like looking at it and looking at her and looking at him, and he's like, this doesn't add up.
He's like putting his skin to the color.
Yeah, he's like, this is a little suspicious, you know what I mean? Like,
is the mailman a giant thing too?
So all I'm saying is he probably thought his wife cheated on him with the devil. Its eyes began glowing red as they grew larger and larger, and this now monster, this now devil, started snarling in everybody's faces, and it went ham. It started attacking its own mother. It killed Mother Leeds, and it flew at the rest of the family, clawing, biting, scratching, and just letting out these unearthly shrieks. And it got to the point where it just kind of, it sprinted to the chimney, and it flew up, destroying the chimney on the way out, reverse Santa Claus style. And it's been living in Pine Barrens ever since.
So when it like sprinted, did it like take like a track start, like on its knee and just like...
Yeah, and then the father shot, and then,
So it's over 200 years old?
It's old. It's, that'd be like 300 years old, right?
Man.
It's had a lot of birthdays. Just like Charlie, who's had a lot of birthdays. At least 30 of them. So let's go to the second origin story. So another origin, tells of a younger Mother Leeds, who I don't think she's a mother in this. I think it's just Leeds. We'll just call her Leeds.
Lady Leeds.
Lady Leeds. And she fell in love with a British soldier. And if you are familiar with history, which I'm not, But if you are, you know in the 1700s, we weren't really down with the British.
They were, like, occupying a territory.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So the British had come to the region because the iron furnaces at the Batstow, that's a part of New Jersey. Batstow, they were supplying the privateers. So in 1778, the British engaged the Americans at the Battle of Chestnut Neck. Chestnut Neck. It rolls off the tongue.
This is 1730?
1778.
78? Oh,
this is second origin story.
This is mid-war.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Obviously, the townfolk, they did not like the fact that Lady Leeds was interested in a British soldier.
No, I wouldn't be either.
So what they did is they cursed Lady Leeds. Now, apparently, the townfolk all took Intro to Witchcraft and Voodoo 101 night class at the community college because it actually worked. According to legend, when she later gave birth to the child, it became known as the Leeds Devil. The baby was born hairy, it was gross, it had the horns, it had the talons, the wings, and it terrorized the entire populace. On the flip side, in the same story, they also say that she wasn't cursed, she herself was in fact a witch, and did this to the community.
Question, in this story, did it come out like that, or did it transform again?
Didn't transform. That was
so
like, it was cursed inside her.
Imagine the horns coming out of the scratching.
I'm a man, and I'm not pleased to be visualizing this.
No, me neither.
So there's the third and final origin story that I found in my research. The third variation of the tale tells of the young woman, Lady Leeds, who encountered a passing gypsy begging for food. Now, Lady Leeds, seeing this gypsy coming on her, didn't like it. She was freaked out. She was frightened. You know, it's like when you're at the stoplight and you're trying not to make eye contact. But when they jump, there's no cars then, in the 1700s. So they come right up in your grill. So the gypsy cursed at her for her refusal to help her out. Now, I imagine this gypsy, taking a step back, is one of those graduates from Intro to Witchcraft and Voodoo 101. You know, those damn little liberal arts degrees.
Yeah,
so she's just out on the street cursing people. She don't got a job. And her parents are like, I told Jerry he could be whatever he wanted to be, but I'd hoped he'd choose, a successful career like a wig maker. It was very popular back then.
Oh, okay.
They were into their wig. You got 1770 Facebook people being like, boo-hoo, I worked at the apothecary 80 hours a week. Shout out Schitt's Creek. And put myself through blacksmith trade school. Anyway, years later, with the curse forgotten, when she gave birth to her first child, a male, it became the devil, the Jersey Devil, and flew off into the woods. Which, for those at home that are like thinking this, it sounds just like Drag Me to Hell. Like it literally, like person needs help, you don't give him help. Some of the button, 2010, Drag Me to Hell.
That was the background.
Spoiler alert. But
that was the background on my phone for a long time.
Really?
The girl in the grave? Yep. I had such a crush on her.
Now, how do you say that? Sam Raimi or Ram?
Sam Raimi.
Raimi.
Like Raimi.
Let's move on to the sightings. All right, we are staying absolutely true to the quantity over quality. We got 7,777.
I'm so glad it's our new mantra.
Yes, I know. It takes a load off my back. Man, they don't have to be good. Perfect. Number 1. Let's go way back to 1820. These are chronological, by the way. That's the one thing you can rely on with me. Apparently, Joseph Boneparte, elder brother of
Napoleon.
Yes, claimed to have witnessed the Jersey Devil while hunting.
Was he hunting Jersey Devils?
Probably not.
Okay.
There would be like, you'd have one, right? Like, there's only one. It's like, you can't. Imagine that picture, though. It's like you posted there. He's like grabbing him by the horns. I guess it'd make a pretty dope picture.
Like a denizen on Africa?
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I hate those pictures with a burning passion.
I know you don't like those big game hunters.
So here's the story of Joseph Boneparte's hunting extravaganza experience. It was a snowy afternoon, and Joseph Boneparte was hunting alone in the woods near his house, where he spotted some strange tracks on the ground. They looked like tracks of a 2-footed donkey, a little specific. He noticed that one foot was slightly larger than the other. The tracks ended abruptly as if the creature had just flown away, and he stared at the tracks for a long moment, trying to figure out what this strange animal might be. At that very moment, Boneparte heard a strange hissing noise. Turning, he found himself face to face with a large winged creature with a horse-like head and bird-like legs. Absolutely frightened, he froze and stared at this beast, forgetting that he was actually carrying a rifle. For a moment, neither of them moved. Then, the creature hissed at him, flapped its wings, and it flew away. Number 2. Man, I hate when there's lack of details. But we'll get to 3 before you know it. There's a newspaper from 1887 that described sightings of a winged creature referred to as the Devil of Leeds, aka the Jersey Devil, as it was spotted near the Pine Barrens, which, it's where it be. It's where it do. Here's the quote from the newspaper. Whenever they went near it, it would give a most unearthly yell that frightened the dogs. Get away! It whipped at every dog on the place. That thing, said the colonel, is not a bird nor an animal, but it is the Leeds Devil, according to the description, and it was born over 100 years ago. There's no mistake about it. I never saw the horrible critter myself, but I can remember well when it was roaming around the woods 50 years ago, and when it was hunted by men and dogs and shot at by the best marksmen there were in all South Jersey, but it could not be killed.
So you didn't see it?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Great story. Number 3. Now this one is probably, I think this is the most popular one, because when you look up anything related to Jersey Devil, they often talk about the 1909 sightings.
Okay.
Popular. Popular. You're gonna be popular.
Yeah.
All right, 1909. During the week of January 16th through January 23rd, newspapers published hundreds of claims of encounters with the Jersey Devil. Among the alleged encounters publicized that week were claims that the creature attacked a trolley car and a social club in Camden, and the police in Camden and Bristol supposedly fired at the creature, which did nothing. Witnesses claimed that it looked like a large flying kangaroo. That would be a sight to see.
Go Zips!
The entire week, people reported that their livestock, particularly their chickens, were being slaughtered. Other reports stated that there were unidentified footprints in the snow, but soon sightings of creatures that resembled the Jersey Devil were being reported throughout South Jersey, and as far away as Delaware and Western Maryland. He got that Fitbit. He was getting his steps in. The widespread newspaper coverage led to a panic throughout the Delaware Valley, prompting a number of schools to close and workers to stay home. And it got so extreme and so intense and spread so far beyond Pine Barrens that it was rumored that the Philadelphia Zoo posted a $10,000 reward for not the creature, the creature's dung. They wanted its poop.
Man, you gotta go in the woods and find anything and just bring it to him.
I would have got some cow poop or something and just said, "Hey, where'd that money at, though?" Number 4, in Greenwich, during 1925, a local farmer shot at an unidentified animal as it attempted to steal his chickens.
So this thing likes chicken.
It likes chicken. It likes that good KFC. And apparently he photographed the animal.
Gun in one hand, photo in the other.
Yeah, but great shot. Ultimate marksman. He claimed that he showed it to 100 people and nobody could identify it. Now, honestly, I think this is the way we should handle things. I think if you go to 100 people and they can't identify something or come to a conclusion, just assume it's supernatural.
Crowdsource it.
I assume they didn't have National Geographic back then.
I don't think so.
Number 5, and this takes us to the Wharton State Forest, which is in the middle of Pine Barrens.
Yep, I got that.
What, you know every state forest? You just got to memorize the geography of it?
I was going to guess based on the topic.
Okay.
In
1980, the chief forest ranger named Alan McFarland was called to South Jersey to a farm near that state forest. The entire pack of the farmer's pigs had been brutally slaughtered in the middle of the night. Now, there will be no jokes from me here, and this is going to be in all seriousness. This one's actually pretty disturbing.
Okay.
The back of the pigs' heads were eaten, and it looked as if something landed on them, perched on their back, and then ate the back of their head and their brains. Their backs were scratched, but whatever killed them left all the rest of the pig, and it wasn't like a bloody mess or anything like that. It was just these pigs on the ground, these corpses, with the back of their heads and brains missing and scratched on their backs. So clearly, something landing on them. And a whole herd? Gaggle?
I don't know what the word for multiple pigs.
All the pigs. They're all donezo.
Yeah, the squad.
Now that's one of those things where you read it and you're like, oh man, I wonder what did that. But like, it's also like, I always like to have a step back moment during an episode. You know, like one of those moments where it's like, let's really think about this. That would be terrifying to wake up to. Like if you're that farmer and you walk out and you see all your pigs, and first of all, it sucks they're all dead, even though he's going to have them killed anyway. So, but to witness that, to see that it'd
be scary.
Yeah. Now, do you think the pigs were just like, well, what is this guy doing? And like the second one died, and the third one was like, I hope he doesn't do that to me.
Jerry, you okay?
And then like, do you think the last pig to die was just like, I bet he's full. I bet he won't. Oh shit! Oh man, no.
But he's gonna leave one to send a message, right?
Number 6. In the late 1980s, a group of friends went camping, riding dirt bikes, having a good time in the Pine Barrens.
Were they smoking pot?
Probably. They're on their Stranger Things thing. That's the 80s, right?
Yep.
Yep.
No, yeah, the last season was.
Yeah, okay. The first season was in the 70s?
No, I guess you're right. Yeah, it's 80s.
Damn right I'm right. So while riding down a trail about 100 yards from their camp, all the bikes stalled. Kind of an alien thing in my opinion. However, as suddenly as the bikes quit running, the men heard a piercing, inhuman scream coming from the woods. And when they went back to their camp, they were just like, this, we're gone. Like, that's terrifying. So apparently that evening, one of the men went into a local bar and told the bartender about the screams. And in the most matter-of-fact, nonchalant, probably didn't even look up from whatever he was doing. He was just like, oh yeah, that's the Jersey Devil. Yeah, we hear that all the time.
Ugh, that's creepy.
That's
actually creepy.
That's just like getting so used to something. And I guess that's kind of like when we were talking about living in a haunted house and you just get like numb to it. 7. The final sighting. I don't have a year on this one. There's a book, and I believe this is from that book, even though it was on the interweb as well. But it's called like Weird New Jersey. I think there's like a Weird every state, and you can get a book.
I think you're right.
But this one I think was pulled from that book. I don't know if it's word for word, but I'm going to tell it because it's interesting. So Route 9 is one of the major roads that run alongside the Pine Barrens in New Jersey, and people use it to go to the Jersey Shore. Yeah.
Yeah, Sammy, sweetheart.
Yes.
And Pauly D, and they're just in the club. They're going, doof, 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 doof.
Yeah, I think this guy was on the way there. He has a name for it, Sonny. I feel like he fits right in.
Sonny Paparello.
Pepperello. So Sonny, he claims that it was around 10 p.m. at night, and he was driving through the town of Bayville. 2 cars driving ahead of him suddenly had to just smash and slam on those brakes when a disgusting, gross, terrifying creature emerged from the woods.
Was it Snooky?
I was not ready.
I still have a shot. I took it.
Oh my god. He described it as being
so much bronzer.
A little dramatic, a little too bronze, not deserving of that much airtime. He described it as being hairless, with strange short ears and hooved feet. He said it towered over the road, standing nearly 10 feet tall, and it looked like every single classic drawing of the Jersey Devil that he'd ever seen as it galloped across the highway. In retrospect, people apparently told Sonny, it was just a deer, man. All you saw was a deer. But he insists that he has in fact seen plenty of deer at night, and this was absolutely no animal he had never seen before. And if I could add on my thoughts here, I assume that if he showed it to 100 people, that they also would not believe it was a deer.
He's like, I know what I seen. I seen a deer. It goes like this, and this thing went like this. That's what he's got.
And all 100 of them like, yep, that's true. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Sonny's right, yeah.
All right, quick fun facts. Jersey Devil, and then we'll get into some of the discussion. It is the namesake of the NHL hockey team, the New Jersey Devils. Now, I love my sports. I could care less. Could care less? I couldn't. I could not care less about hockey. It's right up there with soccer. Do not care at all. I'm very American with my sports. There's two fictional movies that have been made about the Jersey Devil. Jersey Devil, The Last Broadcast, and The 13th Child, Legend of the Jersey Devil. I haven't seen either. They don't sound very good, though. There's also an X-Files episode creatively titled
The Jersey Devil.
Yes. I think I said tiled. I meant titled. So that is the origin stories. That is the sightings. There's more sightings if you'd like to look them up.
I really feel like a cool drawing of like, what is it, Joseph Boneparte?
Yeah.
I feel like that could be done in the snow with like a giant Jersey Devil like lurking over him. I feel like that could be really cool.
You should get that as a whole back tattoo.
I do an arm thing, maybe.
Okay, we'll talk. Okay. Meet me in the discussion. Alright, so, a lot of stories. There's a strong belief that it was played into a little bit and hyped up by just urban legend. The fact that there was a disdain for the area, like it was a poorly looked upon area, Pine Barrens. It's a creepy area, it's not well liked, so it's kind of like, let's give them this terrifying urban legend. I guess they're known as the Pineys. Like, it's kind of like, I'm not from there, so I can't speak on it, and I could be completely wrong. But based on what my research, it appears as if it's not well looked upon. And maybe it's better now. Like maybe over time, over the last 300 years, it's gotten better. But at the time of the origin of the story, they're saying that that's kind of what kind of led to that a little bit. Also, with like the 1909 sightings, because it was all across the newspaper, it started spreading into different states. They pretty much chalked that up to mass hysteria.
To my understanding, the Pine Barrens are like the hill folk of New Jersey, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not from the area. I don't really know.
Yeah, it feels weird to speak on it. Like, yeah. We'll trash certain parts of Ohio, but when it comes to stuff like that, I can report what I read, but it's not like I'm gonna drive there to, interview the people. I'm like, so I hear you're kind of like, you're kind of like, this is the West Virginia of New Jersey. How do you feel about that? We didn't do that. So let's follow the tradition, and I'll ask you, what are your thoughts on the Jersey Devil?
So from what you told me, the 3 different origin stories are like, they're not conflicting. They're pretty similar. But I think I like the 13 one the best, where he's the 13th child.
That's the most popular one for sure.
I feel like the Gypsy one definitely inspired a couple movies.
Yeah. I'm not saying that that's where it came from, but just reading about that, it felt like Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah, it does. It has that same kind of vibe. And like, I don't know. There's like purpose in the first one. It makes more sense to me.
It's kind of, I guess it's more inviting it. Like a random gypsy cursing you is one thing, but kind of like wishing it, like let this child be the devil. I mean, what is that? Is that summoning? Like what are you kind of inviting into you, which maybe led to something happening? Who knows?
Like careful what you wish for.
Right. And also it's just kind of like you get one picture to explain an entire event. What really caused it to happen might not be something that's in the story anyway. Things change, stories change and, shift over time. Who knows if what we're being told now is even close to what could have happened. And even though, they say that she said, let my child be the devil or whatever, it doesn't mean that that's what caused it. Could be something that she didn't think about and nobody else knew.
I feel like maybe it could have been a misunderstood birth defect.
Oh, that's massive. If it's true and it could fly and
No, I mean like it didn't actually happen that way. Like it came out.
It was on some Quasimodo.
Yeah, like it was deformed and like they didn't really know how to process that kind of thing. So they made these rumors.
The dad was like, I'll make it fly. He picked it up and threw it out the window.
Well, I mean, with his drunken rage, yeah, maybe probably that.
Yeah.
And you follow what I'm saying?
What do you mean?
Like, so like maybe it wasn't to the extreme that it came out in the story, but...
Oh, yeah. I mean, it could be 2 separate things entirely. Urban legend and a family that wasn't well liked that had a deformed child.
Yeah.
But okay, so that's the origin. And just like Resurrection Mary, the origin story is just to kind of build into it. I consider that separate from the Jersey Devil.
The actual thing.
Yeah, so what are your thoughts on the actual cryptid, the Jersey Devil?
I really like the Joseph Boneparte story. It's not the most compelling, though, because there's no evidence or anything.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these don't have a lot of evidence, although the story with the dirt bikers that heard the scream,
yeah,
and they go into the bar like we heard the scream, and the guy's just like, oh, that's the Jersey Devil.
Yeah,
that's the one that actually gives me chills the most.
I think the pig one freaks me out the most.
I was thinking that too. That's creepy.
Yeah, because I mean that is a fact. Like something, even if it wasn't the Jersey Devil, you're still living in an environment where there's something out there that did that.
Could that have been like birds or something?
See, I would imagine a vulture could do that to an already dead pig. Plus, it's also like, I feel like when you're watching a scary movie about like a giant crocodile or a snake or a shark, they just like kill for suspense. You know what I mean? It's like if you're watching a horror movie with a mutated alligator, it's going to kill everything in its way. I feel like, and I could be wrong here, I feel like most animals kill to eat. If they're not in danger. If you're agitating something, sure, it'll defend itself. But if something is just existing, I feel like typically it's like, I'm going to kill this to eat it, and now I'm full, and I'm going to go on my way. What that story leads to makes it feel like something deliberately attacking to kill. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it did just eat the brains, right?
Yeah, so it wasn't
Maybe
even...
it just like likes one part of the pig.
But that seems so not normal animal. For it to be so calculated, scratches on the back, eat the brain out, move on. It's not like that's if it's based on hunger, it's leaving so much food behind. So it seems more calculated than that. It feels like higher cognitive functioning. It's not just, I see food, I'm gonna go eat food so I exist and live. It almost like it plotted it. So where are you landing on this?
The whole story as a whole, like the Jersey Devil.
Because there's a lot, there are pictures out there. I'll probably post a couple that I find on, our social media and everything. But it's like there's different stories of hearing the shrieking, people seeing it on, driving around, the 1909.
I find it hard to believe. I have difficulty believing the Jersey Devil. I've never witnessed it, obviously. Are there pictures?
Yeah, there's no, concrete proof, here it is, but there are people that have taken pictures that, there's one I'm thinking of specifically where somebody was, driving, and you can see something, flying above the trees, but at the same time, it's like that Mothman one, kind of, where it's if you believe in it, it'll absolutely validate what you see, but at the same time, it's there's so much opportunity for people to fake things now. It's before you had to see with your own eyes, and then we got to a point where people could take pictures, but then that wasn't enough. It's wow, give me a video. And then we started getting videos, and now we're well, you can edit videos. It really is you have to see something with your own eyes, or have somebody tell you truly trust. And even then, you start doubting. I can speak for myself. I'm sure there's people out there that have had personal experiences. Obviously, we've covered some of them. But I think it's natural to even start doubting yourself. Did I really see that? Or did my mind put that in there?
I think I give it a skeptical.
I'm somewhere between skeptical and unbelievable. But there are a lot of sightings. There are a lot of stories. I do think it's kind of ingrained in the area, and it's just going to always be perpetuating. I'll join you, because who am I to say unbelievable? Except for all the other stuff that I've said unbelievable for. I'll say skeptical as well. Maybe something's out there. I don't necessarily believe the Mother Lead story, because I would probably rate that unbelievable. But the fact that there could be this creature, this cryptid out there terrorizing livestock and freaking people out driving around, I'll give that a skeptical. So that is where we are landing on the very popular cryptid, the Jersey Devil. Alright, well, thank you everybody so much for listening. Thank you to everybody that suggested the topic. I hope we hit it. I feel like you might leave not happy with it, but
it's a lot of history.
Which I from last episode that I'm not the biggest fan of. But it's just I feel like the legend of the Jersey Devil, the reputation of the cryptid is bigger than the story of the cryptid.
It's like meeting an actor like Tom Cruise who's 5'1".
He's my height exactly, but
yeah, but he feels bigger on screen.
Yeah, he does. 5'3".
So the Jersey Devil feels bigger on screen.
He's like Steve Carell, where he's eccentric, but then you meet him in real life. He's like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, I'm Steve Carell.
I like Steve Carell a lot.
I do too. I think he's great. The Jersey Devil would be like, do you want a coffee? I drink decaf, but you want me to make you?
You want some pig's brains?
I got some in the fridge. It's fresh. Yeah, it's just, I feel bad because this is a big one. You know what I mean? It's a big cryptid. It's a big topic. It's just, there's nothing felt, it was hard for me to grasp to anything. I feel like when you look at a story, there's the main nucleus of it, and then the more you look at it, the kind of wispier it gets, and the less real it feels. But I feel like most stories have that one story. It's if you know this story, if you know this tale, this urban legend, you know this sighting of it. This one, I had a hard time grasping onto anything with this. It just feels this guy's been around for 300 years, and he's part of our culture now. I
feel like the story you're talking about for me is the Bonaparte one, but that was also in the 1800s.
Yeah, I was hoping that there would be, and maybe, you know what? Maybe I need to pick up that weird New Jersey book and read about more people's sightings. I was hoping to find more common day sightings with the New Jersey Devil, and maybe I just missed it. But from what I found, it just feels very skeptical to me. But it is a cool story. It's unique. And believe me, if I was in that area and I heard a shriek or I saw something flying, I bump that up to believable.
I agree.
If anybody who suggested it or there are people, I think we've had some people, I know somebody actually specifically recommended Pine Barrens, not even the Jersey Devil. They said you should look into Pine Barrens.
Oh, really?
If anybody around there has a little bit more info or has had personal experiences, hit us up. Either we'll make an episode about it or we'll come out and say, we were wrong, we were stupid, we missed this.
Yeah. We're still doing listener episodes, by the way. One day we'll get to another one.
We'll get to another one shortly, for sure. So thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you for the constant engagement on the social media platforms. We love talking to everybody. We love seeing the follows. We've been posting more the reviews in our stories because that really does mean a lot to us. We kind of joke about it, but it means a lot that you take the time to leave us a review, and we love seeing what you have to say. And we appreciate everybody hitting us up in our DMs as well because we take it all to heart.
Yeah, thank you again.
So as always, I'm Tyler.
I'm Charlie.
And catch us next week on Believing the Bizarre.
A podcast as bizarre as you are.